What don't we
I dare
understand?
you to let me build you a completely free.
Gosh, bro. Stop talking to me.
Ain't nobody heard from Dochi?
Screenshotting
Why do you say her name like that? Anybody hear from Doja?
somebody's monthly listeners is weird behavior to me.
ICE recruitment ad is now interrupting Spotify playlists, leading many to cancel their accounts.
Curtis, K-I-Wire.
DIYers, welcome to another episode of Rap Fans Nor Stands Know Shit About the Music Industry. I am your host, Curtis King. What made you go with that intro, Curtis? Shut up. Last week, there was an episode of the Joe Budden podcast, and more specifically, a clip that went viral where Joe Budden brought up the topic of whether or not he and his co-host thought it was fishy that no one had heard from Doechii. The clip didn't really go into much detail about why he felt like that, but the silence in this video caused a lot of conversations on Twitter and a lot of misinformed assumptions about what's going on. Let's start with the clip and then let's get into some more details.
Didn't you just post a music video?
Ain't nobody heard from Dochi?
Yo. It's about what?
I knew you would say that.
No, I don't know.
Me neither. We can find another topic. Yeah, please. I was just asking y'all a question.
I don't know what the context is.
I don't know either.
Just
What the industry playing shit?
What?
move right along. Yeah, moving right along.
Okay.
I'm Parks. He ain't tripping me up.
Why you asked that question?
Because
Yeah.
I thought it would be a little more obvious than it is, but I guess it's not yet.
Huh?
It's kind of obvious.
So Dirk is in the news.
So they move on to the next topic. Now, two
That was
things I think
crazy.
is really interesting about this, and I know that
What's
they're aware of it,
obvious?
but one of those being that, you know, Doechii has been doing spot dates and specifically doing festival shows, and she's been out there promoting and doing the necessary things for an artist that is still in her earlier years and promoting herself.
Yeah.
Whether or not it matches, I guess, the activity that she's had on social media, a lot of people took, especially with what Mona said in here about the industry plant conversation. And of course, we had that conversation with Punch, and he let it be known.
Industry plant thing is something that I don't understand. Like, just in general, that term.
Right.
Because to me, what it sounds like is you saying, oh, this person's record company is actually working and doing record label things like marketing and promotion and getting your videos shot and
Right.
putting ads up and the whole thing. Like,
Utilizing relationships.
yeah, like if you're putting that on somebody who is actually generating interest, then your point don't apply.
Somebody here put up this stat, and I thought it was really interesting because I think that people use and really weaponize this thing about Spotify monthly listeners without a proper understanding of how this thing works. And I don't really see a lot of people break this down. Well, we're going to do that today so you get a better understanding about what it is that you're actually saying. I'm going to just say, for starters, screenshotting somebody's monthly listeners
It's weird.
is weird behavior to me.
It's weird, yeah.
Unless you're somebody that is a fan of an artist and you want to document their growth, unless you're part of their marketing team, it's kind of weird behavior to me. But this person said here, all within less than a year, mind you, her monthly listeners dropped from 59 million to 25 million. Smoking gun, I guess, huh?
Gag.
Well, it seems
Someone
like
call
the numbers that
police.
they're using, which are obviously Spotify monthly listeners, they don't quite have a grasp on. But thankfully, Brian Z does. I just want to make sure folks ain't out here looking crazy, even though stans have no problem doing that. Brian Z says, every week someone screenshots an artist's monthly listeners and writes, how do they have 20 million listeners but only sold 8K first week? Let's go over why this stat is one of the most misunderstood in all of music. It might just save a few of you from looking dumb. Well, I don't think they care. Break it down, Brian Z. First, monthly listeners are not fans. They can be fans, but that's not what's being measured. Monthly listeners are the number of unique DSP users who've streamed an artist's music at least once for 30 seconds in the past 28 days. That's it. That's it.
So it's like
So
engagement?
for those of you that thought when you go to a Spotify page, shout out to my dog here, Dama Dozen. I'm not logged in, but if I click this follow button, that doesn't immediately make me a listener of Dime a Dozen. That just makes sure that I get notified whenever he has new activity and new music, but that does not make me a monthly listener. What do you mean, Curtis? Does clicking follow make me a listener? No. Clicking follow does not count you as a listener. Spotify treats followers and monthly listeners as different metrics. Followers,
so
people
weird.
who tap follow on the artist's page. This number is relatively static and reflects long-term fan interest. Monthly listeners, unique people who actually streamed at least one of the artist's tracks in the last 28 days. You can follow an artist and never press play. You'll count as a follower, but not as a listener. If you stream
so
a song
weird.
once without following, you'll count as a listener, but not as a follower. First of all, using Spotify metrics when they so damn sus as a talking point, I think is pretty sus, especially in these times. We'll talk about that in a second. Continuing on, the monthly listener count is a rolling 28-day total, not an indication of lifetime popularity or current fan base metrics. For those who think it's all bots, oh, see, the bots got disappeared. That's what happened. Oh, that's what's going on. It's a conspiracy. No, this number literally resets every single day. If someone
does?
streamed
Oh
a
my
song
gosh.
29 days ago but hasn't streamed it since, they're no longer a listener.
Okay.
See how that works? Two things affect monthly listeners counts more than anything, says Brian. One, editorial playlists like Rap Caviar, which that obviously goes through its own cycles where a song will be added to a playlist, and then once it kind of ends its cycle, another one will replace it. That affects monthly listener counts. Two, recency. Speaking specifically to Adochi, she doesn't put out a whole lot of music as of recent, but recency plays a role because it means how recently an artist has released new music on their profile, and that affects their monthly listener count. Let's say a song lands on a popular playlist. The artist will see a massive spike in monthly listeners, but then when that song comes off the playlist or the DSP makes changes to their algorithm, which happens all the time, the listener count can drop just as fast. This is normal, not implied failure.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Oh boy, the empathy I have for artists that create on this scale and how much of their value is attached to these made-up metrics that somebody who sat in a room with a Daniel Ek told you was valuable is insane to me, beyond the normal pressures of just creating the best art that you can. It's best to view monthly listeners like impressions on social media. It is a
Yeah,
measure
it
of total
sounds right.
reach. Fans are active listeners who go out of their way to press play. Most monthly listeners are passive listeners who hear a song because the service serves it up to them. The monthly listener stat
Yeah,
can be useful,
I didn't know that.
primarily for gauging current visibility and momentum, but it is not a reflection of relationship depth, fan loyalty, the ability to sell hard tickets, or community.
Wow. Okay, so it's just impressions. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you got to go outside for some of that information. So
you
next
have
time
to
you
go
see a post
outside.
with a screenshot questioning an artist's popularity or legitimate growth based strictly and likely disingenuously, heavy on that, on their monthly listener count, remember, it's just a snapshot in time of how many people heard at least one song.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
You know, when they
At
try to
least one
throw
is
those
crazy.
type of things on, like, say, for instance, a Kendrick Lamar after the Super Bowl, and then they saw a drop-off, they said, it must be the bots. It's the bots. See, that's evidence of the bots. Or this makes sense if someone performs somewhere like, I don't know, a Super Bowl, and a few people heard Squabble Up for the first time and thought, wow,
song.
this Kendrick Lamar guy has a couple of catchy songs. Let me go listen to it on Spotify.
This
Does
guy
not
got some
necessarily
good
make
stuff.
them a fan. But if they've been listening in the last 29 days, it makes them a listener. The timing is weird because obviously, you know, stan culture has positives and it has negatives. The
Yeah.
positives is that I think it builds an economy for artists that attract a very passionate and dedicated fan base who is all about them. It's great to see people passionate and excited about their favorite artists and going to bat for them, because we've come out of an era where a lot of fans were apathetic about the music of their favorite artists. They were saying how old it was after 2 weeks, and that still happens, but it's dope to see that. The
That is
negatives
crazy.
come with, now you have fans who think that they're music executives. And they're so obsessed
Not
with numbers.
music
Matter of fact,
executives.
Denzel Curry had a post on his Instagram stories where he says, if you're a fan, stop concerning yourself with numbers. Concern yourself with if the music or art is good. Y'all miss out on greatness by looking at sales. Sales that can obviously be manipulated by those with interest
That's
to
so
manipulate
crazy.
them. Shout out to my guy, Mickey Fax. He has some statements on this as well. I want to go ahead and play that here now.
Y'all miss out on greatness by looking at sales. Some of the best music comes out from people that y'all never even heard of. Like, how y'all fans of the content bringing up numbers when y'all got friends that's making music and you ain't supporting them? It don't make no sense to me, man. It's important for y'all to stop comparing artists because of who heard it the most. A lot of that is marketing. Is the music good? Is the skill level high? Does it make you feel good? Is it a vibe? That's what's important.
If you allow the numbers to dictate your listening experience, it may represent a good chunk of people who have a very passive way of doing it, but be careful when you're using numbers like Spotify monthly listeners, because damn it, you never know what side of things you may look like you're on.
Oh,
boy.
gosh.
Did you see this here? So some Spotify listeners, in the middle of their listening experience,
Why
they
does his face look like that? He looks evil. Bro, what do you mean?
heard ads for ICE recruitment.
ICE recruitment ad is now interrupting Spotify playlists, leading many to cancel their accounts.
Oh
And I
my
get
God.
an ad, and it starts with millions of dangerous illegals are rampaging the streets.
Join the mission to protect America with bonuses up to $50,000 and generous benefits. Apply now. Join.ice.gov and fulfill your mission.
Yeah.
Babe. She has headphones on. Hold on. Babe. Hey. Spotify is running ads for ICE.
Yeah, Spotify?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's really shitty.
They're trying to give people 50 grand up front,
I
babe.
know, to be evil.
Yeah. It starts off with saying, like, do you hate illegal immigrants?
What the fuck? It does not start that way.
It doesn't, no. It starts off with something about the illegal immigrants, though.
I don't care about illegal immigrants.
No, as you shouldn't, but like, dang, broski, that was crazy.
It's supposed to be cool enough that you're like, yeah, of course people want to get in.
Right? I thought that was our whole allure. Apparently not.
Yeah, I thought that was our whole thing. That's why we have everything. So, you know.
That's so crazy. Okay, hold on, chat. I need to get like a Pepsi something. Swipe.
Hey.
Oh yeah. And I'm going like what? And I'm going like yeah. And I'm moving to the left and I'm moving to the right. Going outside. Then in the time. Moving in the back. Moving in the front. Whoa. 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 They're not even noticing me. Whoa. Oh, my bad. Hold on. Okay, here you go.
Working.
Okay. My bad, chat. Okay, let's go. Boom.
And when Spotify got called out, Spotify said,
What?
We ain't gonna start running these ICE ads.
What are we
This
talking
post here
about?
on Sound Find says the dystopian move comes amidst a growing chorus of voices boycotting the service for its connection to AI weapons companies. So we live in dark times in the midst of ICE and the DHS invading American cities with little oversight. Spotify has decided to run recruitment advertisements for them. In response to growing condemnation, a Spotify spokesman said it is a part of a broad campaign the U.S. government is running across multiple platforms, not just Spotify. The content does not violate Spotify's advertising policies. Artists and users are not happy. Yeah, the monthly listeners, you know how you get up there basically becoming a walking banner and walking billboard ad for Spotify. This is what you're standing on the side of. No. I'm just talking about the numbers. Stop using Spotify numbers and doing jobs that you're not getting paid for. Bjork said recently that to a Swedish publication Spotify is probably the worst thing that has happened to musicians.
No,
all
legit.
of them. No matter if they get numbers or not. The streaming culture has changed an entire society and an entire generation of artists. Yikes.
Yeah, that's so true. I feel like a lot of artists don't really care about the artistry anymore. And that's sad, bro. And that's pretty sad, my dude. Do I even want to do it? Oh my god. Okay. All right.
Hello, nerds.